Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. We appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for being a part of the show. And I thank you for hanging out here with us and having a good time and enjoying this Syracuse football pregame show. You could see the new dome here on our screen, as well as, me running the ball and scoring that touchdown. So some new graphics here for you this morning. We appreciate you being here inside of the Syracuse football pregame show. I am Dan Tortora, and I'm here with you from Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and Cafe Kubal giving you an opportunity to connect with them in so many different ways, including their 5 locations that they have for you on 401 South Salina Street, 324 West Water Street, 3501 James Street, inside of Golisano Children's Hospital, and their newest location at 208 North Townsend Street, the Holly Green Cafe. And you can now get the DT Special Pumpkin Spice Chai. I get mine with almond milk. You can get yours at any of those locations for mobile pickup as well, so make sure you go out and do that. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'? Today is the Syracuse football pregame show, as Syracuse has their first home game of the 2020 season, as well as their first ever event, first ever football game, first ever anything inside of the new dome. Dino Babers, as well as Andre Cisco and Trill Williams, will be joining us. So we actually have to, we got to move this over and kind of shift this to the side here, because we're going to be adding somebody else into this as in the moment here. And I have the opportunity to share this with you. Taj is going to be joining the show as well. So Taj Harris will be joining the broadcast. We'll put Taj right inside of here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So plenty of guests coming up today. Q&As with wide receiver Taj Harris, as well as defensive backs Trill Williams and Andre Cisco. And, of course, a video Q&A with Dino Babers from this week heading into the Georgia Tech game. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life. And I thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we have some fun this morning taking you into the game. And I'm doing it early because I will be over at the Dome for this game. Very few people will be on site with the opportunity to see this game live from inside of the new Dome. And I am thankful and grateful to God, grateful to hard work, dedication, and determination, and of course grateful to the people at Syracuse University for giving me an opportunity to be able to be there at this game. So it means a lot to me. I'm excited. I'm ready to have some fun and ready to get myself out there. So definitely come and check everything out that's going to be happening on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, following us on Twitter at CallDT, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of different stuff with you. We're going to be having some fun this morning. So I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you joining the show here, as there is a lot coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we're going to have a great time. So a lot of great stuff going to be happening here today, and a huge moment in the history of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to be able to be inside of the Dome for this very, very, very amazing opportunity. The first time that Syracuse will kick off in the Dome, in the new Dome. First time Syracuse will be there for that. First time any event's going on. And as far as, besides the team and people at Syracuse University, maybe personnel and whatnot, we're going to be the first ones in the Dome as far as I know, which is pretty amazing and pretty fantastic. So very much looking forward to this event and to be able to share this with everybody. So thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you for continuing to support Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and having some fun with us here. So very excited for this, and very much looking forward to the opportunity to share pictures and videos and so much more with you as things come about here on this beautiful, magical, and wonderful day. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and looking at sharing this all with you. Want to make sure that we can share this with everybody here, so that you can watch this with us here this morning. So thank you so much for everyone that has that's joined us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and that has obviously continued to support us throughout the week, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And thank you so much for that. and we're going to be starting a watch party here so that we can get some people involved and connected to the show as we get set to talk about things. So, bear with us here for a second as we get all of that set up and ready to go. We'll start this watch party so that everybody can see it here on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live-now-DT. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. And here we go. So now we can bring everybody into this. So Facebook changing things up and making things interesting, but we're having some fun here this morning. So happy Saturday morning. This is Saturday, September 26, 2020. I want to say that date because it's a very important date. As I've been saying here this morning on the show, this is a huge, huge day for Syracuse, New York, as they unveil the dome. Now, granted, fans can't be there. There'll be no fans in the stands. We will be able to be there. Those of us inside of the media will be able to be at this event and see this game live as it happens. So we get to officially open the dome, and you'll be able to, see that through our eyes and whatnot. And I'm very, very honored to be able to do this, to be on such a small list, such a short list of a select few people that get to go into the dome to see this. The first event inside the new dome, first football game inside the new dome, season opener in 2020, and to be on a very, very small list. I mean, this is going to be something that only happens once, and it's monumental, and I get to be a part of this, which is incredible. So thank you again. Thank you to God. Thank you to all of my loved ones and on all of my support. Thank you to Syracuse University, and hard work, dedication, and determination gets us here, folks. It'll be 18 years that I will have been broadcasting here in November. It'll be 18 years, and very grateful for this opportunity that we have to do something so special here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So like I said, make sure you're following us and connecting with us on social media, at WakeUpCallDT on Facebook, at CallDT on Twitter, and at WakeUpCall_DT on Instagram, so that you can enjoy this with us and celebrate with us and go through the opportunity of going inside of the dome and so much more along with us. So I'm very happy to have you, and very excited for the opportunity to be able to showcase this. So thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. So a lot of great stuff coming up. We have some great Q&As that you'll be able to hear from Dino Babers as well as the team in just a few minutes. And, of course, we'll be talking about Georgia Tech. But, first and foremost, Syracuse undoubtedly has struggled through these first two games offensively. Defensively, they've done a lot of great things, but I do not anticipate or expect this defense or any defense that's on the field for the majority of the game to be able to stop everything. And that's one of the things that is really, frustrating for me, is that the longer that this defense is going to be on the field, obviously they're going to make mistakes. They're going to get fatigued. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to get upset. And that's with any defense. So, you look at that first game, 31-6, and again, it was 7-6 for the majority, 10-6, and then it blew out at the end of the game. And you look at the game, and that was the loss on the road at North Carolina. Then you look at the game against Pittsburgh, and this was a winnable game. It was a winnable game all the way to the end. Dino spoke about why he didn't call the timeout. He said, I thought we were going to stop them on third down, and then they would punt it. And then, he was talking about his team and saying, obviously we would have to score. Then we'd have to onside kick. Then we'd have to, kick against the wind and whatnot and this, that, whatever. But okay, so that's what you do. If that's what it takes to win, that's what you do. You do it. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach go, if everything worked out and we scored, then we still would have had to come down an onside kick, and then we would have still had to make a field goal. That's life. That's the situation your offense put itself in. So train them to be able to handle that. And it was very frustrating to be in a situation like that where it just didn't feel like the head coach was really caring about the team, right? It looked like Dino had given up on the team. And that's extremely frustrating. So here we are this morning, and I'm sitting here thinking, would Dino do this again? Would he give up again? You know, he makes it sound like, hey, I wasn't giving up. It was just going to be really difficult. And yada. But, okay, the game of life is difficult. The game of football is difficult. That's just how it is. You have 3 minutes and 3 seconds, 3 timeouts there on third down. That's an eternity. Bare minimum, you're going to get 1 possession. If you play your cards right, you're going to get 2 possessions. You're down by 11. You can kick a field goal, get a touchdown, and get a 2-point conversion, and that's 11, and then we go to OT. So, I'm hoping to see better clock management, timeout management, and whatnot from Dino today, but hopefully they're not going to need it. Syracuse facing off against Georgetown, and we got a lot to talk about with this Georgetown game. Georgetown. I keep saying Georgetown because I keep thinking about basketball, Georgia Tech. So let's look at this Georgia Tech game as Syracuse gets set to face off against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech coming off of a win on the road at Florida State in Tallahassee and a loss at home to the University of Central Florida. Georgia Tech losing to UCF and starting off their season 1-1. And when we look at Georgia Tech and look at their quarterback situation through these first couple games, I want to first look at their game against Florida State on the road. They were down in this game. Florida State looked like they were moving the ball pretty well early on in the game, and then they just kind of sputtered out. In the first part of the game, James Blackman found Keyshawn Helton for a 3-yard touchdown pass to put Florida State up 7-0 in the first week of games for either one of these teams, Florida State and Georgia Tech. And then Florida State kicks a field goal. Jordan Mason has a 19-yard touchdown run to make it 10-7 that they were down. But then in the fourth quarter, Malachi Carter had a 15-yard pass from Jeff Sims, and Jude Kelly kicked a field goal for the separation with 8 minutes and 56 seconds left, and then they did not allow Florida State to score. Now, Florida State is not as good as UCF this season, so we look at this game and say, okay, well, they beat Florida State, but Florida State has not been ranked. Florida State's been quiet. This is Mike Norvell's first season with the team. They went from Jimbo Fisher to Willie Taggart for not even 2 years, and then on to Mike Norvell. And on to the next game for Georgia Tech as we look at what they've done so far. Georgia Tech up against UCF. They scored first with Jeff Sims, the quarterback, having a touchdown run, but that was quickly equalized in just a couple minutes later when Trey Nixon caught a pass from Dylan Gabriel that made it 7-7, and then UCF broke it open from there and never gave up the lead from that moment. With a Marlon Williams touchdown, 14-7 it made it. Then they went up 28-7, and it looked like it was going to be that, but with a minute 14 before halftime, we saw Jamir Gibbs with a 9-yard pass from Jeff Sims to make it 28-14. They were down. They lose the game 49-21 up against UCF. So Georgia Tech losing that most recent game against an offense that, Syracuse talks about going fast. The offense of UCF actually does go fast. I've been covering the team for at least 7 years now, at least 7 seasons, and they absolutely positively go fast. And so, UCF, if Syracuse is looking at kind of, how to break a team down by moving the ball fast down the field, I don't know if there's any better team to look at in recent history than UCF. So you got to look at this game. Now, Dino called UCF a lesser team from a lesser conference. I disagree with that. And, calling a team a lesser team from a lesser conference, well, those are some big words from an offense that hasn't been moving as opposed to a UCF offense that moves very well. So UCF winning this game over Georgia Tech. What did Greg hear? He said, optics. It shows to the fans and the players that you're at least trying and making an effort. Yeah, with those timeouts. Happy Dome opener Saturday, Dan. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Pictures, videos, and so much more will be coming from my experience at the Dome. I can't believe that I'll have this opportunity, and not because of hard work and all that. It just it's surreal to me that it's going to be happening today. But I'll be talking about that to wrap up the show as well. When we look at the box for Georgia Tech up against a team that I think is definitely one of the strong teams here in the nation in UCF, Jeff Sims threw 2 interceptions. Now through the first 2 weeks, Jeff Sims, the quarterback of Georgia Tech, has thrown 1 touchdown pass each week and 2 interceptions each week. That is great news for Syracuse because Syracuse likes to harass and they like to get interceptions. Mikel Jones, as well as Andre Cisco and company, are chomping at the bit at this opportunity. Seeing a quarterback come in with twice as many interceptions as he has touchdowns through 2 weeks, with 4 interceptions and 2 touchdowns for Jeff Sims. Now, Jeff Sims has also been the leading rusher on Georgia Tech for the last 2 weeks, and that is a cause for concern for Syracuse because for whatever reason, Syracuse, no matter who they have running the defense, no matter what defense scheme they're running, Syracuse has historically, over the last decade plus, had issues with running quarterbacks, and Jeff Sims is exactly that. He's, like I said, he's the leading rusher on the team, and he is the leading, obviously, passer on the team as their dual threat starting quarterback. So the fact that he could open this up and move around, you got three sets of hands in the dirt in this game, and instead of 4 because Syracuse playing that 3-3-5. So if he sees an opening and he can get around it, that's 1 less defensive lineman to try and stop you. Those linebackers are going to have to be spying and making good decisions, and you might have to have a DB or 2 cheat up forward. Now, this isn't the same triple option this isn't the same Georgia Tech because Paul Johnson's not there anymore. The man that brought the triple option to Navy and then brought the triple option down to Georgia Tech, he's not the head coach of this team. Geoff Collins is stepping into his 2nd season and stepping into his 2nd opportunity to work at shifting this team into a new era. Now, I believe in Geoff Collins because I covered him when he was at Temple, and so even though this is his 2nd season, I still think he'll do some good things here, and I think he'll start turning this team around. So I don't look at, when I look at the coach, Geoff Collins of Georgia Tech, I don't think that he's any slouch. And I definitely don't think that a dual-threat quarterback is anything that Syracuse can overlook, especially with the fact, like I said, that they only have 3 up front instead of 4. If he decides to take off, those linebackers are going to have to be watching him in order to prevent big-time runs and getting into the open field. So that is one of the catalysts of the game, the fact that Syracuse is good at grabbing interceptions, and Andre Cisco is leading the nation in active career interceptions with 13. That's good going up against a quarterback that does make those mistakes. Another guy to spy on is Jamir Gibbs. Syracuse, as we've seen, when the offense can't get going, eventually you fatigue the defense. When you fatigue the defense, teams know they can run on you. Jamir Gibbs is somebody that's not only utilized in the return game on special teams, but he's also a running back for the team. So that's something for Syracuse to watch. Sims had 16 carries against UCF last week. Jamir Gibbs had 15, so right there with him. 4.4 yards a carry, 66 yards on the ground, and a touchdown for Jamir Gibbs, as well as on the opening play, having a massive return to the 21-yard line of UCF. So Jamir Gibbs is somebody to watch out for. I don't feel like Syracuse has necessarily really been tested outside of Daz Newsome of North Carolina with the return game, so you got to watch that. Jamir Gibbs was also the leading receiver last week with 4 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. So he's a big-time catalyst for the team. If Syracuse can shut down Jamir Gibbs and get Jeff Sims to turn the ball over, that's a recipe for success. But even though that is a recipe for success, you and I both know that this defense has given plenty of opportunities to Syracuse's offense, and Syracuse's offense has not responded. So you start to shut down Jamir. If you shut down Jamir Gibbs, you looked at to contain him a little bit there. That's huge. You get Jeff Sims to turn the ball over, that's huge. But again, Syracuse's offense is going to have to score. And what I'm looking at right now when it comes down to it, Tommy DeVito, if he starts to struggle in this game, if they fail to move the ball down the field, then, I think that you eventually, at some point in this game, not only need to replace him, but I think you have to look at replacing him for good this season. Now, I'm not trying to knock or wish bad on anybody. I care about all these players, and please understand that and know that. They know that and understand that. They should. And so I've spent a lot of time around Tommy DeVito, time around his family and whatnot, and the reality of it all is, if you really care about the team above yourself, if I'm Tommy DeVito and I'm struggling and I'm not moving the ball and the defense is making great plays and they're shutting down Gibbs and they're getting Jeff Sims to turn the ball over and I'm just not getting down the field, I'm not doing anything to keep my defense off the field, and this is the 3rd week in a row that I'm struggling, there's only 11 games this season, folks. Okay? You play 3 games in a season. that's a quarter of your season gone. This third game is a little bit over a quarter of the season gone. When you put that into perspective, a quarter of Syracuse's season gone after today. If you're Tommy DeVito and you're struggling, you got to understand that they're going to have to make a change. You have to understand that. So I think if he's struggling in this game through the first half, you make a change. I think, if he can't get it going and this game is within, first and foremost, you can't afford to lose any games. It's not like you can just test this out and be, this is Dino's 5th season. This is another look at offensive coordinator with Sterling Gilbert. This is another look at defensive coordinator with Tony White. You cannot afford to just see what happens in these games. If Tommy DeVito is struggling and he's making mistakes early, they're going to have to shift into another quarterback. Now, does Dino go to, Dylan Markowitz or Jacoby and Morgan, his young guys? Probably not. He'll probably go to Rex first. But the reality of it all is, if we see Tommy DeVito struggle, they're going to have to make a change. Unless you're committing to losing the season. But this isn't your first or second year as a head coach where you can say, hey, we're going through some growing pains. I'm testing some things. I know we're all frustrated, but, this is going to help us for the future. They can't look at it like this. Because does Dino have a future at Syracuse if this team continues to struggle? So, ultimately, he is going to have to see what Tommy does at the beginning of this game, see what he does in the first half, heck, see what he does on the first few series, and if you got to make a change, make a change. And I'm telling you, if Tommy struggles in this game, they're going to have to look at permanently changing the quarterback. And that doesn't mean that Tommy can't earn the job back, but whatever fire you're trying to light potentially is not working right now. So you're going to have to look at doing something else. With that being said, speaking on Dino and the team, let's jump into those conversations that I had the opportunity to have with this team and going into the game. So first and foremost, you're going to see my Q&A with Dino here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and then we'll shift into my Q&As with the players. So let's go first and foremost to Dino Babers as we get ready for this first game inside of the new look dome. Here is Dino in our Q&A.
Hey, Dan. What vehicle is that? Every week you're in that vehicle. What vehicle is that?
It's my car. It's my Honda.
Okay. All right, I'm looking at that hood. I said, on the ceiling, say, hi, Coach Babers on there, because I'm always looking over your head on the hood. Is that a sunroof you're going to open up one of these days?
Yeah, I will. I'll do it for you.
All right, go ahead.
Just what you can say about, just speaking of opening up, opening up this running game a little bit. Jawar Jordan Jr., as well as Sean Tucker and Marquenzi Pierre. What are you seeing from them the first couple weeks and in practice?
They're all doing their parts. We miss, I'm not going to give you a name, but, we missed holes in North Carolina game. We missed some holes in the Pitt game. But these guys are running hard, and they're young. And two of those guys are true freshmen. The really cool thing is that, one of them is going to be both of them are going to be freshmen next year, I believe. So with the new rules, so they're going to be around here a long time. And Pierre is the veteran of the group with the situation that's happened at tailback, and he's leading those guys and telling them what's going on and all that kind of stuff and making sure they're staying in the right frame of mind. I think they just got to stay with it. Obviously there's some things that we've got to correct in the offensive line and other places as well. But the way they're running the football, I'm encouraged.
And a quick follow-up, Sterling Gilbert's a couple games in as your offensive coordinator. What's the conversation been like between you and him? What are you seeing through these first couple weeks on film?
What you got is two guys that are used to success and working unlimited hours, okay, to give the community what they deserve. And you can only change so much so fast, but Coach Gilbert's work ethic is unmatched, and we're going to get this thing done.
Thanks, Dino. I appreciate it. Stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
That coming from Dino Babers here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, talking about the running game and some things that they need to do moving forward, and him saying, him and offensive coordinator Sterling Gilbert, two guys that are going to get this thing done. So this is game number 3. You're at home. You have an opportunity to make it happen. And it's going to be interesting, too, to hear, what the Loud House sounds like, if they're going to be pumping in different, sounds and whatnot and make you feel like the fans are actually in the stands. So it'll be very interesting to experience something like this. And like I said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'll be able to talk about forever. So I very much appreciate the fact that I'll be there. With that being said, I want to get into my conversations with the players heading into this game. First and foremost with Taj Harris, the wide receiver of Syracuse. And this is what he had to say when I asked him about, are you taking reps with multiple quarterbacks right now? Trying to gauge a feel for, are they really committing to Tommy DeVito in practice? And this is what Taj had to say.
Just what you can say about what the quarterbacks have done maybe in practice this week. Have you gotten reps with multiple quarterbacks, and just what you can say about that?
Well, any practice, any quarterbacks, all our quarterbacks is great quarterbacks, throw good ball. So it's not like we getting any extra reps with any other quarterbacks. We just line up and we ready to roll. Nothing new. I wouldn't say I took any reps from any other quarterback more than I usually do.
That coming from Taj Harris saying, he's not taking any more reps from anybody else. It's kind of just status quo, I guess, and maybe a little bit different than status quo, but saying, hey, listen, I'm taking reps from these quarterbacks, none more than the other. So not letting off too much there. If there has been some changes and whatnot, we don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on from here. Taj just saying that, that he's going out there in practice and not really saying is Tommy taking more than Rex and this and that, saying that, it kind of has been what it's been. So coming up next here is Trill Williams and Andre Cisco here, as I've done a fantastic job of making that connection here. Let's try that again. There we go. So Trill Williams and Andre Cisco coming up here in my conversations with both of these gentlemen heading into this game. They're called the quote-unquote Wonder Twins, and we're going to hear from Trill first in my conversation with him heading into this matchup on what he has to say about Chip West, his coach as far as positioning wise, and Tony White. So on Chip West for positioning as well as the overall defense with Tony White, this is what he had to say about West and White as coaches.
Just what you can say about Chip West as well as Tony White on the defensive side, just what they've meant to you through these first couple games and how they've helped leadership-wise.
They off the field, they're really caring guys. They'll ask questions that normally you wouldn't hear a coach ask, and I respect both of them. And when they talk on the field, it makes me want to run through a wall for them. I feel like I can do anything for them. If they ask me to do something, I have no problem doing it. But yeah, they're good guys. They have good character too as well.
So that coming from Trill Williams, talking about the character of his coaches and his appreciation that he has for these gentlemen. Up next is the other half of the Wonder Twins, and that is Andre Cisco. Once again, the active career leader in interceptions in the nation of 130 Division I FBS schools. Nobody has more career interceptions actively right now than Andre Cisco in Division I FBS football. So with that being said, here's Andre Cisco speaking on his position coach, Nick Monroe, and defensive coordinator, Tony White.
Just what you could say about the leadership that you have from Nick Monroe as well as Tony White on and off the field, just what you've taken from having them both there for you.
Those two, having Coach Monroe as my position coach and then Coach White as the coordinator, it's a really good combination for me. They stay positive, but they also push me every day. So I appreciate them, and I think Coach White has led us really well and kept everyone's mind in the right places. And he played football, so it's a good player-coach perspective from him. He understands everything's not as easy as it looks, and so it helps us all keep a good mindset.
So that coming from Andre Cisco here this morning on the Syracuse pregame show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, getting you ready for Georgia Tech at Syracuse. So once again, the quarterback of Georgia Tech, a running quarterback, a dual-threat quarterback, leading his team on the ground and through the air in the first 2 weeks of the season with a 1-1 record. And then you also have to look out for Jamir Gibbs on the ground as well as in the passing game. If Syracuse's defense can shut things down like they've been doing in such a big way throughout the game, and the offense could give them some help on the back end and keep them off the field, we could look at Syracuse's first win of the season. This is not something that you want to botch in any way, shape, or form, as Syracuse will be opening this dome for the first time ever, the new look dome at Syracuse. You don't want to have a loss when you're closing an arena or when you're opening an arena. You don't want to have a loss in that arena that's your home ever, but especially not the last day and the first day. So Syracuse looking to get a dub inside of the new look dome, and I will be there on site, on location, as one of the few people that will be inside of the dome. So no fans in the dome. A small group of media is going to be there. So first event in the dome, first football game in the history of this new look dome, first home game for Syracuse football in the 2020 season. No fans in the stands during Corona times, and on a very small group of people going in the first group that I know of that's going to be inside of the dome besides people that work at the dome or the football team itself. So this is a big-time moment that I get to write about, think about, and share with my kids someday, share with my grandkids someday, share with Lily today. And, I mean, this is one of the biggest moments of my life. So, jitters, baby! No, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. So I'm very thankful to God. Hard to believe. I mean, it is. It's just kind of surreal that this is, the dome opened in 1980, and here in 2020, which is insane, 40 years later, on the 40th anniversary, we're looking at almost the 40th anniversary. We're looking at this new look dome, and being the first people in it that aren't on the team, and getting to experience it when nobody's going to be in the stands and get to see it and feel it and all of that. I mean, this is something that only a few of us are going to ever be able to say in the history of mankind. This isn't like we get to experience it and then you get to experience. No, this is the first time that really, anybody outside of the team is going to get to experience this, as far as I know. It's the first time the media is going to be in there. It's the first event that's going to be in there. It's the first football game that's going to be in there. I mean, to me, this is one of the... I don't even have words for it. It's a moment in my life that will always be. And no matter how many years go by, and when I'm long gone from this earth, someday after I'm 100-something years old, God willing, and healthy, and get to go in my sleep, after being 100-some-odd years old, when all of that's said and done, I'll still be one of the first people that ever went in the dome. I'll still be the person, one of the people that was at this event. So it's a huge honor, it's a huge blessing, and I'm so thankful for it. Syracuse taking on Georgia Tech. You heard from Dino Babers inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. You heard from wide receiver Taj Harris, as well as the Wonder Twins defensive backs Trill Williams and Andre Cisco inside of the Syracuse football pregame show. You've seen my new graphics here of me running the ball and scoring that touchdown and spiking it. We had some fun here this morning inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I appreciate you so very much. Make sure you're watching and listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora during our normally scheduled hours, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as searching back these shows by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and so much more. A special thanks to all of our partners in the community that helped to make it all possible. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Avicoli's, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn, and Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com, where you can use the promo code online DT20 and get 20% off your order from anywhere in the world. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, Trapper's Pizza Pub, the Millhouse Market, and of course, our beverages of choice, Body Armor, Reign, Monster, and Coca-Cola. And of course, you see that piping hot cup up there of Cafe Kubal Love, and the DT special is now available at all locations and for mobile order, and that is my pumpkin spiced chai. I get mine with almond milk. Get yours however you like it. The pumpkin spiced chai, so good. So I don't even know how to describe the flavor because I haven't had it like this anywhere else The chai is great in and of itself. You put a little bit of this pumpkin spice that they're making there on site, on location, with, different spices and syrups and whatnot. Mix it all up, put it together, and grab it today at Cafe Kubal. I love it. I appreciate it. I heat it up during the day. I drink it in the morning during the show. I want to thank Cafe Kubal for all you do for making this a really amazing opportunity in the community to link up with a business that has sites like I do, which is ever expanding and ever growing. So I appreciate you, and I thank you for that. With that being said, shout out and thank you to my guests once again, Dino Babers, Taj Harris, Trill Williams, and Andre Cisco. Thank you to you for watching and listening here, and make sure you're with us in the postgame. Every single game this season, home or away, I will have Syracuse pre- and postgame set up for you. So the postgame is going to be a little bit later today. It won't be instantaneous because I'll be at the Dome, so I'll have to travel back to the studio. But beyond all of that, stay close to our social media so you can find out when the postgame is going to come on at WakeUpCall DT on Facebook, at Call DT on Twitter, and at WakeUpCall_DT on Instagram. So again, I will be at the Dome, so the postgame show will be a little bit after because we have to do a Q&A with Dino and whatnot, and then I have to come back to the studio. So we'll make sure we have that for you pre- and post-game on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora all throughout the 2020 college football season for Syracuse. We thank you so much for being here. And one more time, because I'm really excited about these graphics, throw these up here for you. We'll see you soon. God bless. No stress. Do your best. From Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to you and your loved ones, have a fantastic day and enjoy the game.